says I'm live. Hello everyone, welcome to Movie Crap Live. If you indeed can hear me, hope you're all doing well tonight. Is it playing music? Oh, let's start it over. Hello everyone. How's it going? Tonight I have this one program that will not close for some reason. Anyway, I will not forget. Sorry. Trying to close. I need to force quit something. Okay. You're live, yes. Hello, sorry, time delay. Okay. First off, I want to say, let me send out the things. Let people know I'm here. Let me just say hello to Cornbread, Purple Goop, Austin, Sinram, I saw William Elman earlier, Medela Butterfly, Bloxy, Oxenwinkle, did I get it? Oh, Cameron Powell, Zodberg, William Elman, did I say that already? Nathaniel Foga, Super Dusky. I'm not sure. Anyway, if anyone else, please tell me I didn't say it. Anyway, just got out of the show. Well, congratulations. Hello and welcome to another episode of Movie Crap Live. I'm going to switch over to where I am. I am hot in the kitchen. I am actually kind of hot. It's, summer and stuff. But, yes, we are here for Movie Crap Live. I've started, sort of on time and all that. Did these both send? Yes, they did. You can go away. You can go. All right. Austin just got home. And hello, pup. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. It is going to be... I don't want to say it's going to take long because when I get at the beginning... I'm never sure if that is going to happen or not, but it's a lot going on. We have 2 segments tonight. We have a lot of stuff. Whoa, Bloxy with the first super chat. First thing I like that. So I want to say nobody, unless I missed the notification, which is possible, nobody claimed the energy drink. Although Cornbread did guess it was a pop one. Hello, Taco Master, but it is. Hold on, I gotta actually have my. Sorry. I gotta make sure I am correct here. I hope the volume is okay. Oh, thank you, Jordan. I try to mess with the lighting, and I guess you can't even see. There's lights back there. I should actually correct that. Anyway, I got the Ghost Phasey Pop. That's what I got. Thank you very much, Bloxy. I just got it because it was there. Sorry, I think we've had this one before. But cheers. I realize. Can I switch this around? Not. Can we do this? I don't think that did anything. Never mind. That was a waste of time. All right. If I move this here. Now, whatever. There's other lights there no one can tell. Oh, well. All right. I guess because I have... Whatever. I'll leave it alone. Wow, crazy. Donut flavors. Sorry. Why make Incredibles 3 when Paul Blart is ready? That is true. They should just make Paul Blart 3. Paul Blart could do it. You could actually develop and make a Paul Blart 3 before that, I guarantee you. Oh, hello. Austin said, got 2 Blu-rays. Day of the Animals movie where Leslie Nielsen shirtless fighting a bear in the rain, and Death Promise where people fight evil landlords. I'm curious about Death Promise, to be honest with you. Cheers to you, Austin. That's cool now. Spilled some on my shorts there. All right. So thank you very much for that super chat, Austin. I appreciate it. And thank you, Bloxy. I didn't say thank you before. What was I going to say? Okay. So, I actually just finished season 1 of Andor. It's really good. I think Star Wars is probably best when it's not actually about Star Wars. But it was very, I don't know, it's an amazing show. I think everybody knows that. We're slowly getting our way through there. The other thing, I watched the Pee-wee documentary, and I fell asleep, and then I rewatched the second part. And the only thing I wanted to this is my little trivia fact or whatever. In the Pee-wee movie, there's a part with Phil Hartman, and Phil Hartman talks about how he's kind of upset because he's upset because he said he didn't get creative credit, and I was like, what happened with that? Because that's weird. And then I looked it up, and it's actually because he contractually was supposed to get 3% of Pee-wee's Playhouse and did not, and that's why he bounced and didn't sue them, but clearly was not happy with Paul Rubens, which I was like, oh, that actually makes more sense, because 3% of a show like that is a lot of money, and he got fucked over. So anyway, if it just seems like an ego thing, it's financially more complex than that. They don't have that in the documentary, but when I read that, I was like, oh, I was kind of on Phil Hartman's side before, and now I definitely am. William Owen said, just saw the new Celine Song movie. Unfortunately, IMO, it is a bit of a sophomore slump. That's unfortunate. I kind of want to. I was curious about her. I don't know. I liked her last one, Past Lives, a lot. So I was curious about that one. But I noticed rom-com people weren't super into it, but I might still see that one. But I have sort of heard that it's like trying to reinvent the rom-com, but isn't also good. So anyway, but cheers to you, William, and thank you for telling us all about that. Cheers to you, man. Most people, when I told the Phil Hartman thing, I always get this comment, the arts are hard, but to me, it's like, if you're promised something like that and you worked hard for it, you should get it. And you also think, like, I'm sure his kids, well, emotionally probably are not fine, but financially are probably okay. But it's like, how much could their lives been helped for a very long time because of the 3% from that show? I don't know. It is tremendously shitty. The other thing, these are just like loose thoughts. There's going to be the obits this week. That's the other thing. The obits tonight is going to be pretty long. Let me just say that. We got 4 people who are pretty big in their own respects. In all of their own respects. Back in when Knockforce was happening, it was also during Lil Wayne's kind of mixtape rise. And I love the Drought 3. I think I've talked about, I love specifically that mixtape is really good. I think it now gets on like best hip hop albums. And he put out the Carter 6, and I was like, all right. When I heard it came out, I was like, I'll probably listen to it, because I do. And then I saw, I listened to it, and it's pretty not good. But I will say the Lin-Manuel Miranda produced one, I forget the name of it, something about elephants, is both like kind of so bad it's good, but also kind of gets his old self, but Lil Wayne's not his old self, so it's just sort of a weird trait. It's like the only one that I would say is interesting on the whole album that I listened to, that I was like, okay, this I'm like curious. I don't know. I'm just like, I am open to that. The rest, I was like, this is not good. I don't know. I'm disappointed, but I also think I also think he was much better at the mixtape thing, and like if you're just listening to Lil Wayne albums, that's not Lil Wayne. is my, but it's also okay, Peanuts 2 Elephants, yeah, Peanuts 2 and Elephants, yeah. But to me, it's like he hasn't really been good in a long time. It's I don't know. But his, like, I will say, if you're like, why was he a thing? Find the Drought 3 or find songs from the Drought 3. Like Upgrade You's pretty good. Stuff like that. I would do that. But he's more of a guy who can just come up with crazy nonsense. You never know what he's saying, rather than more formed kind of MC that belongs on the pop charts. Obviously, he does very well and he crossed over, but I always think he's better when you give him a beat and he just goes. Is like, which is not an album thing, but that's also why that song "A Millie" is sort of to replicate his mixtape style, and it never worked as well as the mixtape. "A Millie's" fun, but Although they should release, I don't know if they still have it, but there's this MTV performance where he does a Millie. He does it on the stage. Thank you, William. I'm telling you, yeah. So he does a Millie. He did it on the stage, and he literally, like, with his mic, jumps off the stage and starts walking through the backstage area, rapping the whole song. And the end of the song, he does all of a Millie. He does the last line, jumps on the bus, throws the mic, bus drives away. I was like, that was, and like, they come back to the audience, and the audience was like, what the fuck was it? Like, everyone was like freaking out. So his 2008 reign was pretty amazing, but he sort of overdid it. Like, if you ever, I think he put out like 100 songs that year between everything. It's just, he really, anyway, I would love him to be like the 2008 one, but look at the Drought 3. I think, I don't know if it was the Drought 2 or something where the George is on my mind. That one's okay, but the Drought 3 is awesome. That's all I'm going to say. If you anyway, thank you, William. Yeah, I love listening to the old mixtapes, but even the Carter 3, I'm like, I don't know. The Drought 3, though. Anyway, sorry, I wanted to talk about that because I know everyone's talking about it, and I was like thinking, and I just listened to the Drought 3 because the day Spotify went down. I was like, oh, you know what's really good, and not on Spotify. Was the type? Oh, okay. Hello, Darian Root. All right, let's just get into it because we have a lot of shit to talk about, and I don't think there's anything, unless there is something I'm forgetting. Oh, I'm not really going to talk about anything in LA and stuff like that. I'm not really ignoring it. I talk about entertainment here and stuff like that, but I do think it's a serious issue. I don't know. I'm very ashamed at this country and this world right now, and that's really all I want to get into here, because I know you guys are here and like to do something, get your mind off of all of that nonsense, but it is fucking overwhelming presently. But if you're in New York, place Zoran #1, and make sure, take care of yourselves. Please voice your opinion loudly and vote to get this nonsense changed, and I hope one day it will. American fascism has always been around, but it is presently very bad. All right. I'm not ignoring it necessarily. Just saying. Cinram says, effective strategy for a present day film scoring best picture. A drama with... Wait, what? An effective strategy for a present day film scoring best picture. A drama with a lot of comedy in it. Materialist is on the right track. That's true. Look at Honora. Cheers to you, Cinram. Cheers to you. Will you participate in No King's Day? Mandela Butterfly. I don't think I will, just because my kids have they're singing and dance, all the various lessons they go to on the weekend and stuff. So it's less that I'm, I don't know. I should post more about that stuff if I'm not going. So Mandela Butterfly, you actually made me think about I should, but I'm usually getting kids to do kids things. So it's less that, sorry. Anyway, I would if I was younger, I would go, but I don't think I am, just because it's harder to do that. Hold on. Okay, talking about, are we getting past the $20 mark already? Jesus, guys, thank you so much. Talking about said, would you celebrate Trump's death, dude? I celebrate Reagan's death. I was like, we're getting fucked up tonight, and then I called my friends in Baltimore. It's like, dude, did you hear him? Like, we're having a fucking party. Reagan's dead. It was, it was epic. Fuck that dude. All right, cheers to you, Taco Master. Fuck Reagan, man. That should be a holiday. Fucking horrible. Wait, are we? We are not there yet. I'm supposed to put a goal, but I don't know if that would work for the. Anyway, let's get into this. All right, or let's do the this and everything I do is truly supported by. I did celebrate when she died too. Sorry. This. I'm sorry. Okay, we shouldn't laugh when fascists die, but We should. This and everything I do is supported by you, the fans, either through super chats during the show where I'll drink my energy drink, and when we get to every $20 multiple, and I'll try to be good about that. Sorry, it's like a lot to talk about and do in the show, but I will make it go all flashy when we hit every time we hit $20. But also through my Patreon, which is linked in the description down below. You get all sorts of exclusive stuff. Like there's my commentary series. There's a new one coming out hopefully this weekend or soon-ish. You get postcards, which will also be going out next week. You get to help me do everything like the flyers, which are going pretty good still. Eventually, maybe again, I'll do stickers. Helps continue to do the show and helps me have a reason, financial reason to keep it going and everything like that. Very much helps me do that. And I very much thank you for your support. You guys have been, I have a wonderful audience, and I'm really thankful for that. But also, like, your support really means a lot, and I really wanted to. I should always thank you guys for that. There'll be more options coming up soon that I really need to set up, probably post Father's Day and stuff like that. But all that support helps me continue to do what I do, send it out, films to film festivals, everything like that, all that. But yeah, as well as the super chats, if you're financially able to do so. If not, and you can't, just liking this video and subscribing 100% helps this show. But if you're just watching and you're in your parents' house and you don't have headphones, you have the volume really low, and you're hoping they don't find you in your dad's study watching this weird bearded guy and stuff, then I appreciate the support, and I'll try to keep it down. Sorry, I don't know why I've kept this bit going. I don't plan it. Actually, I have a funny story. Maybe I shouldn't tell it. Anyway, I'll tell you right after the Discord thing. If you like this community, sorry, I'm a little more silly than I thought I would be today. If you like this community here, this wonderful chat that I'm always talking to, then you should join the Discord, which is excellently run by Cornbread, Ryan Walterson, Austin, and Zane Powers, who do an amazing job. They do movie watches every week. Cornbread does the thumbnail, which I'm excited to see. Later, they have movie talk, where I actually posted something in for once about The Incredibles 3, because I was curious how people thought about it. Daily questions, where I even asked, like, what do you want me to talk about in movie crap? And there's a lot of stories I didn't know about, and I'm very much thankful. They're watching the Rankin Bass Hobbit. Holy fuck, I want to be there for that, but I know I can't, but that is awesome. Anyway, anyway, they do a great job. It's a wonderful community. If you like that, also the licensed playing card channel. These are cool licensed cards, by the way. But anyway, yes, it's wonderful. You should join it. It's the best Discord. It's the Discord I'm most active in. There's an Ask Jim channel, suggestions for Jim, all that wonderful stuff. Just join up and check it out. You took out okay, Pi ZK. I don't know why you would, but this. I don't know why to tell the story, but this happened to me today. I just thought it was interesting, I guess. Sometimes I go to Subway, and I've been going there for a while, and I always get like tuna. I like tuna sandwiches and turkey, and those are the only two things I ever get. And it's always the same people. And today the lady was like, I have a question. And I said, what's up? And she was like, are you Muslim? And I was like, what? No, I'm sorry. And she was like, oh, because you never pick the like pork stuff. So apparently I and she also thought the beard. So apparently I come off, I don't know. I thought it was interesting. No one's ever asked me if I was before. So that was interesting. But I guess, it made sense. I understand her reasoning though, because I never get like ham and stuff. So I think I have, maybe she forgot, but I'm kind of a boring person. Anyway, I thought it was like, no one's ever asked me that before. I don't know. But she was like, also the beard. And I was like, oh, I guess I sort of get why she thought that. Anyway, sorry. I do actually, like when I most of the time make, sandwiches myself. I do, but I have noticed like if somebody has something at work or like something happens that I don't have my prepared sandwich, no homeless guys will take the pork ones. Like, not a lot of people won't. People are weird about. I don't really get it, but it's their whole thing. Anyway, what? Okay. So let's talk about the Warner Brothers thing because that is one of the biggest stories, and we'll go into the Cartoon Network debt thing. Let me get to that. It's sort of a larger story, so do not think I'm ignoring something by that. Oh, thank you, Google Docs, for sending me to the exact end of this show. So Warner, my only real enemy is Google Docs. That's the only nemesis. So Warner Brothers, or Warner's Discovery, or whatever David Zaslav does, is being split into two separate companies. One is Warner's Discovery Streaming and Studio. These are basically self-explanatory what they are. The only thing, but anyway, there's Warner Brothers Streaming and Studios. It basically is all like the streaming stuff. DC Comics is actually in Streaming and Studios. That's the only thing that's like a little different from the naming thing. And Warner's Discovery Global Networks, if it's a TV network, guess where it went? Oh, surprise. I noticed all these videos, I saw people just listing everything off. I'm like, you could just say like it's like Warner Brothers Pictures and all the studio stuff. And then anyway, I found that interesting. Oh God, I'm gonna be poor. Well, thank you. I'm sorry that you're poor. And that does, first off, cheers to you, Remiku Hiraku Shrine. Cheers to you. It does pretty early in the show. Thank you guys. I made a $20, so I'll do the fade as Zodberg helped me out. Thank you. That actually has become very valuable. So yes, it's been split into two companies. How that sort of works, but this is ending the merger that was supposed to end all mergers, which I understand streaming service wise, had they done it well, would make sense. But Discovery Plus, however, I believe is with the global network side. I'm pretty sure. I don't think does anyone here care that Discovery Plus is still going? Is anyone surprised Discovery Plus is still going? I was. But this mega merger is now ending. It's being split into two pending IRS approval, which might take a little bit. But David Zaslav is running the studio side. Sorry, Zara. It really helped, and I don't get a lot of good, anyway, I'm almost by myself, so when I get good feedback, I'm like very thankful. Sorry. And then the former CFO of Warner's is running the global networks. So the networks, basically, they're split into two. There's about $30-something billion of debt. All of that is being pushed onto the global networks. However, they are taking out a loan of $17 billion that is going to be to pay off a lot of their creditors, to take down that debt significantly, as well as the global networks will have a 20% stake in streaming and studios to help them extra be able to pay off that debt. I've noticed people, when they're bringing up the what's happening in global networks, not bringing up that part. So they did give it a bit of a safety. I know that's not like a ton. It's not going to mean this isn't a shitty idea, but it's like something. And Comcast did a similar thing and all that stuff. And this is the first time Warner Studios doesn't have a TV side attached to it since Turner bought it in the 90s. This is a lot to do with Zaslav not getting 60% of the board not approving his pay package. It's also because Warner's credit rating was really bad. But I don't know. Supposedly this is, and most people believe that Zaslav has always been prepping Warner's for a sale, which I think most people believe, and this makes it more sellable. And you can sell it to two different things because, as many people have brought up, most people want the studio side. They don't want cable networks in 2025. So the people who would want cable networks can just have the cable networks. The people who would want the studio would like the studio. That's sort of the theory and all that shit. My main thing with this is the global networks thing, even with the $17 billion and even with the 20%, and I don't know how, couldn't tell, I think it's like 10 billion or something they make a year. So that's about 19 billion right there. And 19 billion minus 38 is not no debt. It's still a massive amount of debt. And although cable channels are still making some money somehow, this isn't really great for a lot of stuff because I am sort of afraid, since they're run by a CFO and because Adult Swim did, as Andy Merle confirmed, do mass firings on the Friday before all this. I don't think this is good for the network side of it. For the studio side, I don't think they will even notice, and this will probably get them sold at some point. But I network wise, and I think HBO is staying with the streaming side, possibly. It's like all the other cable channels. Anyway, I am afraid we're going to see a Cartoon Network that just like playing Teen Titans Go and a few other things, much like what happened to MTV and stuff like that. And HBO Family is shutting down. You're right, Javier Partella, which is part of this. We're probably going to see a lot of the network changes throughout this summer. None of them are going to be good. I think it would be extremely stupid of them to fuck with Adult Swim since it is so profitable. That's always been Adult Swim's thing because it appeals to a certain demo that is very accessible to advertisers. Common Side Effects did very well on streaming. I do think they will probably continue Adult Swim. They just had this huge Annecy announcement, which I was like, how are you announcing all this Annecy stuff when, like, you know, Warner's is on fire? But they did anyway. I don't know. I was like, does anybody want to, like, do you feel nervous about this? Oh, hey, Morgan Ray. I am nervous about this from the TV side. However, and especially TV's gotten tremendously shittier in the recent years. Like, I need to make a short or a video about like how bad like TV ads are, like tremendously bad. Like we'll be watching at a huge prime time and they'll basically, that ads will become a QVC kind of thing or something. It's very weird. But I do think I think the global networks is in trouble, and I do think we'll see problems, and I'm worried about TCM in particular. I think it's highly vulnerable. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing ads on Turner Classic Movies, which, as much as Spielberg and all those guys fought to keep it around, it's one thing to have to deal with Zaslav, but the CFO, what is stopping him? And as much as like Cartoon Network, I am worried about, but I think the worst Cartoon Network could be is just playing, you know, it could just become Me TV Tunes or something. But if TCM goes, that's really going to be a bigger hit than people realize. The other networks that I don't give a shit about, I'm not, you know, the Discovery stuff I'm not as into, but I do think it's just a sale thing. They just want to merge the thing, and they will take everything down with it so they can do that. I would be worried about the future of Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, Turner Classic Movies, anything attached to the global networks. That does not sound like a good idea, having the CFO run things. Now, if you can affordably figure out how to do that and make these things pop and work, maybe he's a smart CFO. I don't really know much about this guy, but on the what I'm seeing right now, this does not actually look good. In fact, this looks fucking bad. I'm very nervous about this whole thing, and you should be too. And I don't want Cartoon Network and all these things to go down like Toys R Us, where they give it with a ton of debt. I don't know, but yeah. So right now it's two companies: Warner Discovery Studios and Streaming, Warner Discovery Global Networks. I none of it is great. So I am curious to see. I think the next Warner Brothers movie I'm seeing is Superman, unless I'm mistaking something about that. But we'll see. William Elman has. This is a great transition because I can switch out after this. William said, "Are you looking forward to Ari Aster's covered social media causes brain rot film, or is COVID satire stuff in film just annoying?" I will say, William Elman, and cheers to you, sir. I should probably stop this now. I actually have it on the Halloween setting on here. The trailer I saw today of Eddington, I really liked, and I thought I would be annoyed by it until I saw that trailer. And I thought that was actually interesting, and so I was like, this sort of does capture that. We'll see if I didn't see Beau is Afraid or Beau whatever. I didn't see that, and I really should. Skibbity. I'm actually kind of more interested in it than I thought based on this newer trailer. I thought it was actually a really good trailer. made me kind of a little. It does seem like a bit of a Magnolia mess type of thing, but I'm down for it. So, cheers to you, William Moment. Like, I don't know if it came out today, and it's like Pedro Pascal slaps Joaquin and like that, but I'm a little confused how Austin Butler and all that fits into it. There is a lot of pieces. I'm like, you're closer to prison now. See, now I want to antagonize you, right? Okay, let's go. Where are we? All right. So, Incredibles 3. It was announced this week that Peter Sohn, who directed Elemental and The Good Dinosaur, has been picked by Brad Bird himself to direct Incredibles 3. Now, I know Peter Sohn has been around for a while. I think he's the inspiration for The Kid and Up and all that. And I get that that was Brad Bird's choice, and I understand that is his choice. However, based on what Peter Sohn has directed, I've seen both of those movies. I've seen them both in the theaters, and I've seen them both. I've seen Elemental several times. I don't know about The Good Dinosaur. Has anyone watch that again? I don't think so. But, and I know Good Dinosaur, everyone's like, Good Dinosaur doesn't count. But Elemental is not, I don't like this choice at all. I'm sorry. I know people are like, Brad, you should have faith in Brad Bird's choice. And I'm like, I guess if it was good, though, it's not a good choice. Emblood T, you were fucking right. You were right. Colin Trevorrow was also Brad Bird's choice. Thank you for that. I forgot about that. That is a very good point, man. Jim, didn't you work on The Good Dinosaur? I'm not exactly sure what that's a reference to, Austin, but thank you for the super chat. Cheers to you. The Good Dinosaur, the movie that got its theater count because it came out before The Force Awakens, and every movie theater did not want to piss off Disney. That is not a joke. But cheers to you, Austin. But I just don't get, fuck, who are the people? Now I'm forgetting everyone's name because I just don't think it, I mean, there's nothing about his filmography that makes me go, oh, Incredibles 3, you know? To me, I would have gone in a different direction. I would have gone for an actual animation action director, which that's not what Peter Sohn is. There's nothing in what we've seen from him. Maybe I'm missing out on something. But my main choice was like Josh Cooley. This should be Josh Cooley, who directed Toy Story 4 and directed Transformers 1. He would knock this out of the park. I think that is a mistake. I know they sort of lost that guy, but like, come on. Like, if they had said him, I would have been like, okay. Also, Kelsey Mann, who directed Inside Out 2, I think would have been good. I also think like Peter Ramsey or any of the Spider-Verse guys. And also, I know it's a cliche, and I know everyone will say this, but if it was announced Gendy was doing it, we'd all be hyped as fuck right now. I would be like, here we go. I don't know why. If I ran Pixar, my first call would be like, Gendy, for real though, how much? How much are we doing? How much and how soon can you be here? Because I've never understood how do you anyway. I want to say something that's gonna be a little controversial, and I don't. It's a little controversial, but let me say this. I love Brad Bird. I think he was a great director for a long time, right? He had an amazing run from The Iron Giant till Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. Mike Mitchell would also be a good choice. Man, Embla T, you're cooking tonight. But Brad Bird hasn't made a good movie since Obama's first term. Incredibles 2 was not a good script. It was very bad, actually. And Tomorrowland is a moral mess of, like, what the fuck is that shit? I question I know he is working on Ray Gun, and I am actually a little interested in that, and I think it sounds exciting. However, I think our hero worship of him is about 14 years past him doing anything good. And I understand he has a, a, a you know, he has a great track record when he did, but I just don't see it. Um, you know, I just don't see it right now. I don't see our understanding that, um, like we should always trust Brad Bird. And I'm like, maybe we shouldn't, because like his decisions kind of fucking blow right now. I mean, I don't know. I'm like, it's been a long time. Like several directors who people say, why do we still follow them, have made several good movies in that time. I also think Incredibles as a franchise, that sequel should took way too long to come out, and it's sort of like time is sort of past it. Like to me, it's like Incredibles 2 coming out the same year as Into the Spider-Verse is like one of those moments where it's like the year that Pocahontas came. It's not as bad as Ghost. I know it's Mission Possible Ghost Protocol. I think I just called it Ghost Protocol, but like it's one of those, you know, when Pocahontas came out the same year Toy Story came out, and you saw like the it shift, and I feel that about like Incredibles 2 and Into the Spider-Verse, where it's like Incredibles 2 not really that great, Spider-Verse reinvented everything, was the best Spider-Man movie, like took on like took the reign from best animated superhero movie. So look, I just am like, I'm much more cynical about Brad Bird than I used to be, and I don't love this whole like, you know, like let's just trust him no matter what. I don't know. I'm like not into that shit. I'm like, it's not a good choice. I'm not. Yeah, unless I hear something. I understand it was his choice and he mentored him, but like at a certain point, it's like, does that really make a lot of fucking sense to have him do it? I don't know. I'm also like, I don't really like, if Brad Bird's writing Incredibles 3, I would actually like someone else to write it. But I also think like make it in a different style, like the 50s, 60s things. Like, wouldn't, if the kids take control, wouldn't that be more like 80s, 90s style? Like, I don't know. I think it should not be the same thing exactly. I think that's going to be a huge artistic failure if that is what we do. So I have a lot of if, ands, and buts about this, because I really like the first Incredibles, and I love Brad Bird's run, like from Iron Giant to Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. He's like an insane, like all bangers, you know, all bangers, no skips kind of thing. But after that, it's like a huge drop off in terms, like Incredibles 2, like what does the Screen Slayer have to do with Mrs. Incredible? It like it doesn't work. Like it's just like, I don't. It's fucking bad. Anyway, so Austin said, you think he's gonna wind up directing the live action Iron Giant? I hope not, but anyway. Sometimes you need two strikes for a home run, Joe. You're optimistic, Rap Boy Mickey. Anyway, cheers to you, Austin. I think it's also Tomorrowland was Tomorrowland. His whole like Ayn Rand thing, that's in a lot of his stuff, that really sort of broke me with him. I that really upset me. That was like seeing the glass shatter and go, oh, you think you're like better than everyone. That's gross. Like, I get that you're Brad Bird, and I understand why you would think that, and I'd heard he's like that, and he's insane to work for, but you come out with a lot. But, like, it sucks that he's, like, pushes that morals through art is sort of gross. You know what I mean? It's like you can think, like, I'm talented and stuff, but, like, as soon as you're lording over people and making movies pushing that, it's like, that's where I get, like, that's weird. Like, that's not cool. Anyway, I agree, Mad Max Fury Road is more positive and is a much better movie. Malcolm Rampart, hope Brad is happy making his pet project with his buddy Lester at Skydance. BTW, biggest problem with Incredibles 2 was that it didn't feel informed by all three new superheroes film shit we got. Yes, no, it didn't. It felt like that is a good point. You know, it's interesting, Malcolm Rampart, and thank you, this is a very generous super chat, and cheers to you. Yeah, the original one felt like it was taking on, like, it was like little kids Watchmen, And the second one felt like he hated Marvel movies without seeing anything. It was like a very, yeah, I agree with that actually. I very much, whereas Spider-Verse felt like it understood the world it was in and expanded upon it. We actually, you guys have been really good to me for real. We're actually at 40, so we will do, are we doing it? Okay. We would do that. All right. Let's talk about Zelda. The Zelda movie, which is coming out in 2027, has moved up from wherever it was to the big, fancy first week of summer release date. This is a big deal, and it kind of shows, hello, Wanda and Nettie, what is changing about the next two summers. Is that the MCU is not going to have a major foothold other than Spider-Man Brand New Day. They're really not going to be around for the next two summers. And other franchises are going to bloom up through that. And that is not a good thing for that. I think Marvel like did that because Thunderbolts is flopping, and we'll get into the box office is crazy right now. We'll get into that later. But I do think like the video game movie thing is going to become a bigger thing through these summers as we talk about other like Speed Racer later on, and not Speed Racer, Street Fighter, and other stuff. But it's a smart move. Nobody was taking it. That is going to be, if that first trailer hits and the promo is good, the Zelda movie, I'm going to say now, would at least be over 100 million. I'd say 150. That is how you kick off a fucking summer. The anticipation needs to be there. So I think it's a smart move. It's great for the industry as a whole. And I do think like something about the Mario movie, I think I'm curious what the next 10 years of movies from them is going to be. And even though everyone told me Metroid is not super popular, I would like a Metroid. Anyway, I love the original NES Metroid. Was not good at it. But every time I was at a friend's house, like, let me play it. Like, Jim, you'll get past the first level, then you die. But I want to do it. I was determined. And I will say, that is one thing that bugs me my whole life. Never good at video games. When people take the controller and say, let me do it, I'm immediately not interested. Never do that. It's like the worst. Unless they ask you. If they ask you, that, yeah. But that was never the case. But man, when I was a kid in the 80s, I really liked Metroid. Despite sucking at it. I remember when I got when I got to the second level in a very long time later, I was like, oh man, this is what it's like. And I think someone was listening and just started laughing at me. Which rightfully so, but it is funny. Alright. I also didn't get to play it though. I didn't have it at home. I like played it at friends because my mom was like against Nintendo because people think being against technology is like a real deep personality trait or something. Anyway, we're going to move on from that. Smack Friends was announced for season 3, but no, not just season 3 that's happening this fall. Sorry, I should bring this back to normal. We'll go back to Halloween. Season 3, and it's been announced for a pickup for season 4 and 5, which is amazing. So if Adult Swim survives that long, we will get 3 whole new seasons of Smiling Friends. I do really like this show. I'm disappointed by culture as a whole that this is not as big as Rick and Morty or something. Like, I really like Smiling Friends. Sometimes I'll between seasons, I'll be sitting around and go, why don't I just watch a few? And I'll just watch ones I like. And, it's like, I don't know. I love that show. I'm very happy for him. But it was confirmed, but yeah, apparently as of October 2024, at least 2 seasons of season 3 were complete. I don't know why that detail's in there, but whatever. All right, we're going to talk about a lot of Annecy stuff disconnected. So if I actually do make timestamps, I don't think I will tonight though, then this would be the Annecy part. Or if anyone else wants to, this Annecy Cartoon Network thing. The next one was Gendy has a new show. It is called Heist Safari. Is it Heist Safari? Yes, Heist Safari. It is, the design looks cool, very Gendy. Is this an Adult Swim? For Adult Swim, sorry. Is described as an animated, high-octane action comedy telling the story of 3 frog brothers who rob a bank. Sounds like Battletoad? Is that a battle? I don't know. Shouldn't speak on about it. Seems simple enough, but the execution is special as expletive because they just have a bunch of I think fuck or shit, I'm not sure. Reads the log line. So apparently it was pitched. Oh, apparently the show comes a year after it was pitched on stage at the last Annecy. I didn't know about that. But yeah, he also, again, he was there for his Netflix movie Fixed. We got a poster for that. That's coming out soon. And he was also on the panel for 25 Years of Cartoon Network with Rebecca and a bunch of other people. I just remember it was Gendy and Rebecca. I don't remember anybody else. I can say her first name. It's fine. But yeah, that's awesome. I'm down for a new Gendy show. I don't think we're getting a season 2 of that unicorn thing, but it doesn't sound like that because he also talked about how season 3 of where is that did I not move that? I thought I did. Of Primal is really good. I thought I wrote down that. I guess I did not. Maybe I thought I copied it. Anyway, there is a season 3 of Primal. It's gonna come out next year, and he says it's really good. I'm assuming it's about the kid and not the other guy. I like the Unicorn Show, but it's sort of like one of those you have to like adventure shows from the 70s and 80s, and I think you went a little too old school, but I enjoyed it. The other, I think this is I will talk about all the Steven Universe, Rebecca Sugar stuff. But the first one, this is the show. Okay, I'll tell you. So first, there's Lars and the Stars. This is a new series that will chart Lars and his pirate crew as they smuggle contraband, evade authorities, and uncover the darkest secrets of the fallen Gem Empire. And it's executive produced by Rebecca Sugar and Ian. They're Ian and Rebecca to me. You know. That sounds cool. It reminds me of Starjammers, which was Corsair, who's Cyclops from X-Men's dad, and it reminds me a little of that. Sounds actually like a cool idea for a spin-off. I thought it sounds legitimately cool, as well as I think aside from that, if I read this correctly, Ian and Rebecca are also developing another Steven Universe thing with the characters of Steven Universe. So there's a new scene, and she says she couldn't let go of it. I kind of want them to develop their own show, which they are. I'll get to that. But Malcolm Rampart said, if you can watch Cusack's shows YOLO and Koala Man, I do need to watch those, and thank you for bringing that to my attention. I have not watched those, but cheers to you. That is okay. So Austin brings up in the chat says that I wonder if we hit nostalgia for Steven Universe. I'm interested in maybe nostalgia has changed because looking at the success of the Phineas and Ferb show, which I have kids are not talking about the Phineas and Ferb reboot, but people in their 20s are, and I do think there's like becoming a thing where like maybe because there's so much going on in the world, it's so overwhelming, like nostalgia is not doing the 20-year thing anymore, it's doing the 10-year thing. I'm starting to get that impression because as we're talking about the return of things from the early 2010s, that's not 20 years, that's not the 20-year rule most of the time. So I do feel like that has changed a bit because I am noticing like we're getting nostalgia for Cartoon Network, we're getting nostalgia for Phineas and Ferb. These are 2010s things that we should be talking about this in 2030. I'm not sure if that's like, we'll see if like all these things hit, but it does feel like that to me. I don't know. The other thing, and this is honestly the thing I'm most excited about from them, is this show called The Elephant. It's from Pendleton Ward, Rebecca Sugar, Ian Gisriel, and Patrick McHale. Will all reunite for a special. It's a special. Oh, is it just a special? Oh, I thought it was a show. Whatever. But it sounds still cool. We'll reunite for a special called The Elephant on Adult Swim. The animated special will follow different teams that are responsible for one of the 3 acts without any knowledge of what the others are making. I'm very down for this. This sounds fucking awesome. I'm really into this idea. I love it for all those guys. I wish it wasn't. I thought, it's funny? I copied it and it says the special, and all day I was like, I would watch that show every week. I don't know why I thought that. Um, I'll say that I've collaborated with half of that team, and they are fun to work with and bounce ideas off of. And I did actually worked on a jam cartoon with them at a party once. That's at the end of the Knockforce presidential go karts, and we did each drawing, and some people would like not look at the others and stuff like that. And I right when I saw that announcement, I remembered working on stuff with them, and I was like, yeah, this is gonna be fucking cool. I can speak to those two that they will knock this out. I'm like very excited for this. Pendleton Ward also, but for real, this I can attest this will be good. I wish I could review it. I cannot because there's no way. Anyway, also it's like when I watch Ian stuff, I just see him, so it's like I don't. It's just like anyway. I do have some morals about that, but it sounds awesome. I'm hyped. I'm there for it. This to me, that's the cool show. Animation wise, that is the fucking cool show to me. The elephant, I'm fucking down for that. That is my most anticipated thing at all. That sounds so cool and weird and interesting. Like get me that show. I would like them to do. My only advice for them on this whole thing is I don't want to know who did which part. That's my only thing. And I'll say this because when I did my William Wellman series all the way back like 10 years ago, anytime I reviewed a movie that he just did parts of, and based on auteur theory, or like what I knew about William Wellman, I thought I would pick out the right scenes, and I was always wrong. And like I want to be people surprised like who's what. So that's my only. I'm sure I doubt any of them are watching, but like that would be my only advice is please do that because I want to see the internet get it 100% wrong. That's and everyone go, oh, none of how we read into artists really it makes you feel like a fool. Same with like the Ant-Man thing. Everyone thinks the part where the Cure song plays was Edgar Wright. It's not Edgar Wright. It's but you'd think that, wouldn't you? When you watch it, you go, that's Edgar Wright. It's not. It's interesting. Anyway, if you ever watch a movie and you hear a director did a few scenes and you're not sure which scenes, guaranteed you will get it wrong. Most of the time. I'm just saying. It really makes you feel like you don't know the director afterwards. Okay, Malcolm Rampart said, the internet has sped up culture, even nostalgia. Malcolm Rampart, I 100% agree with you there. Cheers to you. Okay, let me get all these super chats and then we'll move on with the rest of the NFC stuff. Austin said, now the rant table can make Steven Universe videos bingo, mongo, that their catchphrase, right? Yes, I noticed you're pushing this Kevin as Lars thing, which I think is funny. Austin. So cheers to you. And lastly, William and Jim, I recently saw a rip of the forgotten NFT Kevin Smith film Kilroy is Here. I saw you said that, my God, that movie was an actual scam to buy more weed. LOL. I kind of think so. I kind of want to see the 430 movie because I heard really good things about it. But, yeah, that NFT stuff. It's almost like the AI scam of its day. What's up, AI? I can't wait to see you fall too. Cheers to you, William Moment. All right. No, it was Kevin. You're right about that, Austin. Sorry, just confused you. All right. Senator Fogel, you were there at that panel, as I recall. All right. So other non-Steven Universe things, we got an announcement that Teen Titans Go has gotten a 10th season. We also got some news about I think they showed some stuff from regular show, but they also got Super Mutant Magic Academy. I forgot JG Quintel is doing that, which I'm like, I guess that's what he has to do because he can't. I kind of liked him doing his own original thing, but it's his own, apparently he found the comic and he developed it, so fine. We also got Gumball, stuff from Gumball and regular show. Those things sounds like they're coming out soon. Okay, we did actually get through a bunch of stuff. Okay, thank you. All right. So, I don't normally do celebrity set of thing news, but I have two, and I think they're interesting. One is, I couldn't find the exact quote, and I skimmed through the Vulture interview, but Michael B. Jordan, who previously has been like, I don't want to make a live action remake. They do not work out. Said he does want to make a live action remake. I could not find the quote. So if anyone wants to correct me, feel free in the comments of this later or in the chat. Say, he actually said this, it really wasn't that. Which I'm hoping it is. I know he likes anime. I like how influenced by anime Creed 3 was. I thought that was great. And I'm very curious what he's going to do. Oh, hey, Roses, how it's going? Oh, thank you. Well, I'm glad it changed your life. I hope in a good way. But we don't know. Yeah, I liked how Creed 3 was influenced by anime. I'm curious what he's going to do. He's remaking he's making another version of Thomas Crown Affair. I just like, please don't remake. Here's my thing with the live action remakes, and I have filmed a Lilo and Stitch review. I guess I'll see how you're enjoying it. But my thing with these is, I don't want a direct shot, scene by scene thing. The reason we talk about Speed Racer so much is because Speed Racer was its own thing. Now, I wish more people would talk about the show. My actual plan for real is once my kids and I finish the Speed Racer show, I was actually going to, I don't know if I'll make a video about it, but I wanted to rewatch Speed Racer but I was like, I feel like I'll get more references than when I first saw it. I'd seen a lot of it, but anyway. I am curious about that, but like Speed Racer worked because it had the Wachowskis take on Speed Racer. The Disney ones are just like, it's the same thing, but people are in it. And if he is going to bring a perspective to it and do something different with it, I'm all for it. But for the most part, there's no bigger percentage of failure artistically than live action remakes. Like, please stop doing them. They are garbage. Most of them are garbage, really empty corporate bullshit movies. Michael B, please, like, I love a lot of your filmography. Please keep it that way. I do not need this bullshit. I really I'm really in a negative place about live action remakes right now. I'm like, oh god, I actually don't like it when other people be around me, because I feel like I get so negative, and I just like, I don't know. Anyway, yeah. I feel like when I watch them, like, ugh, what the fuck? Like, it's just really an unpleasant viewing experience. I really hate that there's so much of that. It's like, I don't know why people like why bitch about superhero movies when live action remakes are empty and right there. I don't get this. So whatever, fuck that shit. Another celebrity thing. So Candace Cameron, insert another name. I'm with you, Mako Wacko. I kind of wish they would move on, but I think maybe it's like that's what they'll get the money for, and that's what you do. I don't know. I know Rebecca really loves that show and making it, so like it's not a fake thing. So I don't know. I actually do. From what I haven't spoken to her in a very long time, but to my understanding, that isn't a press thing. So if she wants to, and artistically she wants to, but I do sort of wish they would go on to other stuff as well. But Candace Cameron said, and this sounds like a crazy conservative person thing, and it is. But I wanted to talk about this because people, when I was a kid, would tell me this all the time. But says, okay, Candace Cameron said she avoids scary movies at home because they could be a portal to something demonic. In our house as a mom, I feel like you guys make fun of me when I talk about it. That they're rolling, like, but particularly about a spiritual thing happening. Oh my god. What portal exactly? Like, if you're watching this or playing a video game where that's a portal that could let stuff inside our home. I don't even want someone watching a scary movie in our house, because to me that's just a portal. Oh my god, but she was crazy. I understand how it all works. I know that a movie has a crew of 200 people and they're lighting it and they're adding special effects and it's makeup and camera people and actors. However, there's still something that could be incredibly demonic while they've made it. Look, when I was a kid, the reason I didn't actually see horror movies when I was younger is because like both my parents and other people's parents would say, like, people who make horror movies, think about like what kind of mind would make something like that, and like all this weird, creepy stuff. Here's the thing: when I was older, I eventually learned none of those people have actually seen very little or any horror. Do not listen to people who don't know horror movies opinions on horror movies. That is like one of the, I really don't like it. Like, if it's like, where is this coming from? I've never understood this weird horror movie thing. If you don't want to watch them, that's fine. But like saying like it unearths these things and people like them are strange, and like what the fuck is that? Like, I don't go around like making videos about like how people who like rom-coms or dramas or this way, like, it's a very odd thing to me. So I thought it was funny. I was like, if I ever see her, I'd be like, I'll have Texas Chainsaw ready on my phone to be like, here you go. But just don't. It's just, horror movies are just like, the thing. I actually think here's my real thing when people say that is, horror movies are often, if done correctly, often major metaphors for things about society's ills, and they bring up major issues. If you look at, not all of them obviously, but like, everything from what like Carpenter did to Romero to all these guys, they're really, or Nightmare on Elm Street, all this stuff. If they're afraid of that, I think what they're really afraid of is the issues they conjure up and that they face you with. And I think like the idea of Nightmare on Elm Street and all those things bring up these issues. And most of the people I know who are horror fans will talk to you about those issues and stuff. And I've noticed that there is a difference, but it's the people who don't like them don't seem to want to engage with that as much. To me, it's not opening up a horror portal into hell. These aren't disturbing people. You just don't know much about it, and just admit that you're ignorant to it. I don't think Hallmark movies make you, simple or stupid or something like that. I don't feel that way, and most of the horror people don't. It's like everyone on them, which I find more telling about them than the horror movies. I actually thought for a long time I had a concept, like a rough concept, where someone who said they couldn't watch horror movies or didn't like them, and a horror movie came on and they actually became like a monster or something if they watch horror movies. I've thought about that before because I find it so odd. Thank you, Medela Butterfly. I love your little, I love the staple. 150 though. Guess I'm doing good today. Cheers to you, Medela Butterfly. I love the $1 super chat. Anyway, Candace Cameron, whatever. I guess y'all know who she's the sister of. So news on the Street Fighter movie. Apparently Eric Andre, I know we talked about how the director was from Eric Andre. He is rumored, or maybe cast, I think, or the rumor is that he's going to be cast as the Ringmaster. So Eric Andre will, right now it's believed to be in Street Fighter, as well as Walter Goggins as M. Bison. I'm not like in love with that casting, to be honest. I don't know if I love that, but maybe he'll make it work. And this guy Orville Peck, who I'm not sure who that is playing Vega. There's been a lot of like talk of Momoa as was Bulka, or the green guy with the red hair and the shocks and stuff. But effectively, it's just going to be Enter the Dragon with Street Fighter people. So be ready for that. You know what I mean? But it sounds, casting wise, that sounds cool. I'm down for that. So next up, we have Spaceballs 2. This was announced today. This has been talked about for a long time. And it is going to, a lot of people, I think I retweeted or blue skied Drew McWeeny talking about how, like, in a better world, the big news of the day would be that Rick Moranis is back to movies, but Rick Moranis is back in this new Spaceballs movie. I'm not sure. Do we have a confirmed title? Is it like Spaceballs: The Schwartz Awakens? Is that for real? But it is directed by Josh Greenbaum, who directed Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar, and that's an awesome fucking choice in my mind. I guess Mortal Kombat's more than Enter the Dragon. I apologize. I guarantee you it'll be a little Enter the Dragon. Anyway, Mel Brooks announced this. Apparently, Cast wise, we're hearing about um, Rick Moranis is coming back. Bill Pullman is coming back. Is Daphne Zuniga? Why isn't she involved in this? Anyway, apparently Bill Pullman's son, who is in Thunderbolts, Lewis Pullman, will be involved, and Keke Palmer, who I'm very down for because I don't know how well one of them days. I saw it and I kind of wanted to do a review, and I really like that movie. Her and SZA were great in that. And it's like one of the few films about poverty I thought really got it. But it sounds interesting. And I know Josh Gad was working on a script. I don't know if his script is the one that's eventually gonna come. They said they read it as a non-prequel, non-reboot sequel, part 2, but with robot elements franchise expansion film. Is one of the titles they talked about. Well, one thing I'm wondering is about this is, well, first off, will Lucasfilm allow them to merchandise at this time? Because I know, like, that was like an agreement back in the day that Lucas would let them do this, but they couldn't do merchandise, even though there was no Star Wars merchandise, which is like an extra fuck you. But I really loved Spaceballs as a kid. I watched it incessantly, a lot. I'm not super into this idea, and I kind of feel like maybe it would be a better idea to have done this when the sequels were coming out and less like now. But like, whatever, I'm glad they finally got it. A lot of these people are dead, right? I mean, it's like Joan Rivers, John Candy. I'm not, I don't know if Dick Van Patten's dead, but I probably. But Mel Brooks is still there. I hope Mel Brooks. Okay, the plot revolves around. I will get you all in a moment. Sorry. The plot revolves around the evil Dark Helmet and President Scroob, who attempt to steal the. Oh, that's the original one. Why is it fucking Deadline? Why is the original? Anyway, I'm sort of hyped. But please be better than an awful animated show. That is legitimately very bad. I think I was in a reply and someone was saying how, like, I remember G4 and Adult Swim had like a bidding war over the Spaceball show, and G4 got it, and it was like, oh man, what's G4 doing? Like, everyone in animation was talking about, man, maybe they're gonna do stuff, and then the Spaceball show came out, and everybody was like, never mind, they dodged a bullet. They fucking dodged a bullet. They really dodged a bullet. It was so bad. It was like, I don't know. You know what? If anyone's going to be Dot Matrix, it should be Nikki Glazer, probably. I mean, I can't think of a better. She would be better at it. I don't think you have the insult comic. Maybe her or Wanda Sykes, who, if you ever saw the other two, she can be really, really good. I think one of those two would be my choice, to be honest with you. But William Wellman says, with Friday the 13th coming up in 8 minutes, at least here, do you have a favorite actor who played Jason? I would say Ted White in Part 4, who also played the creature from the Black Lagoon. I didn't know that. I feel like I hear more about Kane Hodder, and I think he was him in 6, and I do like Jason in 6 a lot. I do like Jason Lives more than most people. I think that is sort of the first, like, the step that when we eventually got to Scream. So I'm going to say Kane Hodder, because I don't know all the Jason actors as well, and I know him, and I'm fairly sure he was Jason Lives. But if I'm wrong, whoever is Jason Lives, whoever was the Jason Lives, is my actual pick, I would say there. Choose you alone. Good question for that. I didn't know about Part 4. Part 4 is maybe my favorite one, to be honest with you. It's like 1, 4, 6, 2. I don't like 3, but choose you alone. Although 3 is where he got the mask. Part of film history. Or Friday the 13th history. Okay. We are actually past... See, wow, you guys are being very nice to me. I want to thank you all for that. I'm going to do... Okay. We get the... Are you... The fade always throws me. Jason Lives is the modern fan favorite? Well, good to you. Look, Emblity, I'm going to say this. Joan Rivers was very recognizable too. Everyone knew that was Joan Rivers. All right. Robert Eggers announced, I guess it was today or in the last few days that he would direct a Christmas Carol for Warner Brothers. I believe it's Willem Dafoe is playing, would play Scrooge. My thing, and he's producing with Chris Columbus, who's really been embracing Robert Eggers. Chris Columbus has long wanted to do horror and darker, so he's had a Daredevil movie for a while. So Chris Columbus, this is actually something he's wanted to do for a long time. So I'm actually happy for Chris Columbus that he can break out from that. Was it announced that Dafoe? I don't see that in this announcement necessarily, but I hope that is the case. However, here's my thing with this. His other film is basically, as they say in the industry, Werewolf is in first position. So that, regardless of, this is a cool idea. I'm not trying to be a jerk, but like, this is the other movie. And like, it's like he's not making this first. He's making this second. To me, that's like, this could, who knows if this happens. Like, when I noticed a lot of hotter directors do this thing where they just like stack projects, and like, okay, thank you, Cornbread. He's heavily rumored. I think Dafoe would be the best choice. I don't know, Dafoe isn't not, I love Willem Dafoe, but he's not box office, so I'm curious if they go in a more box office direction. I don't know who that would be, but supposedly but yeah, he does have his next film's coming on Christmas Day 2024, 2026. It's coming out in the past. Well, by that point, we'll figure out time travel. I think it could be an interesting Christmas Carol, but I do think like this was a development deal. We'll see. Like ask me in 2027 if this is gonna happen. You know, to me, it's like if a director lines up, hey, revert gym heads. I've heard Gisrielites, but I like gym heads. Yeah, and we never got a trailer for Nosferatu, but it did well. It's weird. I'm like, this sounds cool, but like, I'm a little skeptical of it actually happening, if it's going to be the film after Werewolf, you know. And a lot of times when it's like another project and not the big project, if it was like he's doing Final Destination 8 or whatever the next one is, I would be like, oh yeah, probably. But if it's not that, then I just, that's why I'm oh, hey, Measure Mike was out. It has been a while. Anyway, it just be, it's cool, but understand, if it doesn't happen, don't be surprised. That's all I'm saying. I think it would be interesting for him to do a different thing, and I think that project could work out for him. So I wanted to clear something up because I've gotten a lot of requests on this. And I don't think it's as bad as people say. First off, I don't like that there's a Cat in the Hat movie at all. To me, it's like, it's a short and it's a book. I don't have no problems with the book. And if any, oh yeah, the labyrinth thing. Yeah, good point, Corporate. I forgot about that. I mean, I don't know. I just am like, I get that it's a big brand thing and they obviously have to make a Cat in the Hat movie and stuff, but I just don't, I'm not really hyped for this. Apparently I knew Bill Hurd, but I didn't know Quentin Brunson, Bowen Yang, or one of them playing, I don't know, are they the kids? Whatever. But the director of Cat in the Hat sort of defended, sorry, I saw the 2003 comment, have sort of defended Warner's decision to shelve Caddy vs. Acme. I'm a little confused, like, did they bring this up or did he just say, no, I want to do this kind of thing? But they did show a work in progress part of the movie. And his quote was, I want to say the quote to clear this up. He said, it's that kind of industry. You have to go with the frustration. We are lucky to do art in our profession, but we can't lock ourselves in a basement and paint a painting. We get to do things that are huge and expensive, and it is a business. Sorry, scrolling down. While some of us are unlucky to have lost projects, one specific case becoming representative of how painful and atrocious the industry can be. But he says, go to the movies, go to the big ones, go to the small ones, just don't stream them. Basically saying, like, if you really want to sit it, Uh, Although he also says, I feel like AI is never going to be as fucked up in the head as me, so I am not as worried about it coming with our big ideas. Oh, wait, that's somebody else. Anyway, my thing with this is, Mac Derry would have been bad. I, I, it's not a great quote, but he's not like saying like fuck that movie. I do think like I was thinking about that this week because when I was talking about telling people about the Pee Wee Philharmon thing, and people say that to me all the time as like, well, the arts are hard, and then the conversation sort of just it's a good way to end a conversation about the arts. Um, but at the same time, I do believe there are morals and you should be nice, and maybe that was not the greatest thing to say. I don't think it is worth getting that upset about. I think he's just saying like arts are hard and this is the way it is. But I'm still also like you could have phrased that nicer. That's all. I don't think this guy's cancelable. I'm not super into this movie or this guy doing this at all. But I was also like, I mean, I don't know. He could have said it better. Is my interpretation. Although they cut out all this. He really went after Scoop's Holiday Haunt. It was pretty brutal. He was like, oh, that movie, no, that deserves to go in the trash. I was surprised. So go after him for that. But Cadbury's Acme, he I just don't see that. Sorry, I do think we're definitely gonna run long tonight. I want to talk about a couple things. This I've noticed. I got a lot of requests, so normally I wouldn't, but I just wanted to clear that one up. That's all. So this one I don't know if people heard, but there's been a long rumor. We're talking about Hunter Schafer again. They are very popular on the show presently, I guess. That there was talk about the Zelda thing, but there's also been talk about Hunter Schafer for Mystique, and that there's a major push for Hunter Schafer to be Mystique. And the theory, and this is all rumored, I want to specify this, is having Hunter Schafer play. They want to get more trans actors considered not a gender term, by the way, into bigger movies. But there's obviously like the politics and all that stuff. But the theory is if you get someone who's trans to play a shapeshifter, which is Mystique, it would be more acceptable, and then you can promote someone who's trans. And will remind everyone who's watching that trans actors, as I spoke about, I think years ago, very few of them actually have health insurance from acting in Hollywood. That's how bad it is. And the idea of Hunter Schafer as Mystique is to sort of promote someone to get more people across, is the very much rumored theory. If it is all true, I think Hunter Schafer would be a good Mystique. I would like Mystique to not be just blue and naked. That's not how Mystique is in the comics. Do the whole white thing with the, I don't know what it is, but I would like it more like the 70s comic. But I hope that happens, and I hope their intention and this theory works. But that is sort of the rumor going around from industry. I do say it from people who have credentials when I say these things, and this was one of them. I saw being pushed around. I wanted to bring it up. I hope it happens. I think Hunter Schafer would be, just from looks, I don't know they're acting super well, would be a good, I think that would be cool. Anyway, William Ellman said, in the original Cat in the Hat live action movie, Myers was obligated to appear in the film as a result of a settlement related to the Sprocket film's cancellation. That is crazy. Yeah. Man, he really didn't want to do that Sprockets movie, and I wonder if that script was worse than the Cat in the Hat. I've wondered that. No, I don't think. Is it anyone found it? I don't know. Cheers to you, William Ellman. Thank you very much for your generosity. All right. All right. We're going back to Halloween, baby. All right. This is sort of a. Well, okay, Cornbread. I know you're saying this thing, it could come off as transphobic. This is just one presently. And they're just trying to but it is a rumor. I want to specify. Marvel, Kevin Feige didn't say this, but that's sort of the theory behind it, at least. I just wanted to clarify that there. So there's this weird thing I've heard from various people who cover Star Wars stuff, and not just the conservative ones, some of the liberal ones as well. Kathleen Kennedy, no, you're right. What Cornbread said, I agree with, but anyway, it hasn't been confirmed, to be clear. So Kathleen Kennedy is leaving Lucasfilm. We know that. And much like most studio heads, she's getting EP credits on basically everything after that. Um, uh, like Amy Pascal got executive producer credits and or associate or whatever her credit is on the Spider-Man movies and how's her production thing. But because all these Star Wars right-wing grifters have made their whole careers off of shitting on Kathleen Kennedy, they've all started to make a big deal out of the fact that like she will not have her claws in Star Wars forever and stuff like that, and they'll never get rid of her. I want to explain. An executive producer credit is called what's called a vanity credit. Whereas if you're a producer, you have to be on set for a certain amount of time. There's certain people who were going to be producers. Like I know that happens to Brad Pitt. Has happened to a few times where he wasn't on set enough, so he had to push himself down. Which, to my understanding, as much as I don't actually like Brad Pitt, he was nice about. But and most people or producers understand that's the guild requirements. Executive producers do not have those sort of things. You get as few. You might get a 1 percentage point. You get some royalties. You get a check. And maybe you show up to some development meetings, but for the most part, I mean, you could get one for not doing jack shit, basically. Like, executive producer credit is very much a vanity credit. We do not know, like, I know she's developed, like, Mandalorian and Grogu, and the one Ryan Gosling is in, but if you hear people, it's a conservative dog whistle bullshit thing. She, to our understanding, is retiring. She might have sort of a producer credit, but she's not a studio head. She will not have the same involvement. Anyone who acting like, if you don't like Mandalorian and Grogu, it is her fault. Maybe because she was the studio head, but not because she's getting a little executive producer credit. So I just wanted to kind of warn you guys, if you hear that on another channel, it is a conservative dog whistle thing. That is what it is. I've heard almost every more like level-headed industry person has gotten like mad at this story because they're like, that's not what an executive producer is. Please stop saying this. And they're really pushing it. And both conservative and non-conservative people I've seen, and they're extremely pushing and getting upset when people talk back on it, but it's very clearly that's what it is. I'm sorry. That is what's going on. Anyone who does that anyway, you should be wary of, but I just wanted to say, like, if I've seen this bubbling up a lot this week, she is not, once she leaves, she's not in charge of Lucasfilm. She's not the studio head. It is a different thing. A lot of those will just say executive producer. It's sort of like when if they gave one to Lucas, I'm sure Lucas showed up for a day and they were nice to him. That does not mean he's majorly creatively involved. Anyway, I just wanted to warn you guys about that because I think like people are trying to dress it up as something else, but it is a conservative dog whistle. I just wanted to say. Anyway, and I'm not happy that I've seen non-conservative people pushing it. I get that people make their money off of Star Wars, but like, you don't need to continue this. I really hate it. All right, we're going to talk about a few things, then do box office, then do, I think we might be going for a while. I fell asleep for a long time last night, so maybe it's the energy. Anyway, there was a bidding war that hasn't really heated up because a lot of this is hearsay, but of the rights for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre IP, which encompasses film, TV, live events. What? Okay. And games. Sorry. So for the Texas Chainsaw thing, supposedly the big person who is gained steam in this is Taylor Sheridan, who is known for Yellowstone. I do not want him having Texas Chainsaw. There's also an idea that Oz Perkins could do a Texas Chainsaw, but he would only produce and co-write with Brian Bertino, who directed the Strangers from 2008. There's also been talk of people from the Minecraft movie getting involved. There's there's talk of Netflix. There's also talk of Jordan Peele's Monkey Paw being involved as well. I don't. The thing is with this is, if it was me, is it like fucking skipping out? I'm sorry about that. Fucking YouTube. I don't know. My computer's not an old one, so I don't know why it does this. I apologize. Anyway, I think if you're gonna do Texas Chainsaw is an Rayleigh. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Texas Chainsaw is a movie that's dirty and grimy and gross and weird. And to me, like, get a new, different person. Do not get an established hand if you're going to do it. I wouldn't mind a really strange version of Texas Chainsaw. I do not want like the 2003 one, which is like fine, but like to me, like I Texas Chainsaw 2, which I actually haven't seen. I know is a different one. Like do something weird and different. Do not get these big people involved, and definitely not Taylor Sheridan. There's no one on here that I was like excited for. I think it's just like a franchise with a lot of misses, and I would not like another one. If you're gonna actually do Texas Chainsaw again, get someone weird and strange, and like I would actually be Ari Aster would be interesting, or somebody like that. But I don't think I don't know. Anyway, all right. So this was in the announcement, but not the thumbnail. There was this thing that Martin Scorsese announced that he, or said in an interview. Oh yeah, the Barbarian people. I would be cool with the Barbarian people actually, but they weren't in the running. I think they have too much going on. Jeremy Saulnier. Oh man, fuck. Okay. You're changing my opinion a bit. So Martin Scorsese, in an interview for The Guardian, I believe it was with Owen Gleiberman, but I forget, said he doesn't go to the theater to see movies anymore, saying that people are too rude and talking about all sorts of nonsense. They're on their phones too much and stuff like that. And Owen Gleiberman actually said that, like, come on, Marty, we talked during the movies when we were kids. It's not as bad as you're making it out to be. Which I think he's making too much about this a bit. I don't know, like, I'm also curious, like, I'm fairly sure he lives in New York. What theater is he going to? I'd like to know that information. But it's definitely disconcerting, and I do, when I see people in the theater, I see a lot of them just, like, look at their calendars on their phones or go through their photos, which I always find, like, the weirdest thing to, like, I understand, like, if your kids are at home or there's a babysitter thing, like looking at those texts, but that kind of stuff, I'm like, you're that addicted? I do see that a lot, and I do see people being rude, more so in the art theaters than the theaters people think would be rude. I think it's unfortunate that Martin Scorsese doesn't like to go to the movies as much, but Marty, if Marty needs to know where the good theaters are, hit me up, I guess. But I do think people are rude sometimes. I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. I just think if you pick like Saturday night 8 p.m. shows all the time where they're packed and people are a little crazy, you're not going to have the best view of the movies. But I go on kind of weirder days, so it's usually okay for me. And you can also, like, I know the assigned seating thing, which I do not love assigned seating. I think you can just get up and move. It's like, just move away from them. I don't have that big. I mean, obviously everyone has bad experiences, but it's unfortunate that Martin Scorsese doesn't want to go to the theater anymore. But a lot of people brought up, like, can't he just like ask a filmmaker for a copy of his movie and watch it in a screening room? Like, I've heard he has a screening room, so it's like not like, well, okay, you're not going to the normal theater, but like I think you're fine. So it's sort of a nothing burger a bit, but it was shocking to hear Scorsese of all people say that. But William Ellman says there has not been a good Texas Chainsaw Massacre since the first one. I've not seen 2, so I will say I agree with you for now. Cheers to you, Ellman. Thank you very much, man. All right. I'm just gonna go on to the box office. I just want to talk about it really quick. And then, man, this is gonna be a long one. Maybe I shouldn't have said I was gonna do 2 seconds. Well, I did, and I want to. Well, I'll just say this about the box office real quick. Ballerina did not open very well. It opened second. I think it was the second. The only John Wick movie it opened better than was the first one, which isn't good. As well as the big things people are talking about is Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. Will it ever actually make money? uh, because of how much it costs, and everyone's sort of breaking it down, and it doesn't. It looks like it could actually lose more than like what's considered the biggest bomb of all time, which is like John Carter presently. Because right now the way it's heading, because the Mission Impossible movies only make about around 200 in America, and don't make as much like worldwide. People are uh, wondering like how this will ever make money back, because it's going to lose a tremendous amount of money despite opening very well. I mean, the one thing about the arts and movies and stuff, if your movie costs an astounding amount of money, it's really hard to get that money back. So I think Mission Impossible is Dead Reckoning, or Final Reckoning, is the example of one that's like, it's a hit movie, but it's not doing well because of how much it costs. The other one is Thunderbolts. There's been a lot of discussion about that recently, especially today, of that it's having a hard time crossing $200 million, and it's not going to break even and stuff. I do think that box office performance very much changed how Marvel saw itself in the future. I do think it's a relationship to how people view those movies. But I'm also like, you shouldn't. They really need to be smarter about budgeting Marvel films. Like the fact that they all cost about $200 million, like all of them. Like, I don't understand the superhero economics of that. Like a a film about the Thunderbolts should not cost $200 million. Like, that's stupid. Like they're not a name. Like Spider-Man, sure, that'll make money, but Thunderbolts, like, people don't know it. Like, bring the budgets down. Like, that's your only thing there. Did the audio cut out? I don't think so. I hope it didn't. A film about. Okay. Anyway, I'm sorry if it did. All right. Oh, and Sinners is tied for most weeks in the top 10 with 8. A lot of people are not sure if it will make it to 9 with How to Train Your Dragon coming out and other stuff. But it could, and losing theaters as well. So if Sinners makes it into the top 10 box office next week, it'll be the film that stayed in the top 10 of 2025 the longest. We'll see if it makes it next week. Okay. I'm going to do an obit section, then we'll take a break. I'm sorry that this is such a long show tonight. And then question. You know how it does. You know how we do. It's cool. Don't worry. Thank you for... I don't mind if you're... I'd much rather get the feedback, to be honest with you. All right. What was I going to say? All right. So here are the obits, regardless. First off, I think the first one... I want to talk about is Sly Stone. Sly and the Family Stone is one of the more influential R&B, rock, funk groups of all time. I think it was. I'm not actually. I like Sly Stone. I'm more of a George Clinton guy. Although George Clinton actually, I don't think on his Instagram said, "I'm still processing." I don't know if he ever actually said anything yet. Because obviously he has a lot of feelings on it, and I understand he would. But Sly Stone, and what Sly and the Family Stone did, is he's a hugely influential figure. I highly recommend checking out their stuff if you haven't. I think rock and funk and music as we know it would not be the same without him. And he's always been a really interesting, iconic figure. It's okay, Major Mix. It's okay. Don't worry about it. It's okay. I appreciate you telling me. So I'm going to say RIP to him. As well as Enzo Stiola, who played Bruno in Bicycle Thief, or Thieves, depending on who you feel, I guess. One of the more important major movies of all time. He played the kid in Bicycle. He passed away this past week. I think that was a major loss. R.I.P. to him as well. Brian Wilson passed away this week as well. This one was a big one for me. I always liked the Beach Boys as a kid. Oh, that's Surfing Safari, Surfing USA. Pretty much like what the Ramones became and all that stuff. And that stuff's wonderful. But, man, I remember when I was a kid listening to In My Room and really feeling like that captured like me just hanging out, reading comics, feeling like you're in this safe little contained space that like it's just you and your imagination can go. And he really captured that in a way that when I listen to that song, and I actually listen more to the Langley School's Music Project version, which is one of my favorite albums, but I specifically remember the first time I heard Pet Sounds. I was a teenager, and I remember hearing "Would It Be Nice" and "God Only Knows," and just like in my dad's van, he was telling me how it's like much more existential and sadder, and man, that album really hit me. It just was a part of me getting into music and understanding like how the Beatles, like, it made them make Sgt. Pepper's as their answer to Pet Sounds. I don't think, I'm going to say, I don't know how many albums they made that were actually better than Pet Sounds. I don't think Sgt. Pepper's is as good as Pet Sounds, if we're being real. Sgt. Pepper's is good, but it's not Pet Sounds. Pet Sounds is one of the greatest albums of all time. It's one of my favorite albums of all time. It's just, there's a certain beautiness to it, and a sadness to it, and just something that really cracks me open in a lot of ways. But I think wouldn't it be nice? I remember I knew that song. I liked it a lot. And if you ever see, and I'm not a big Michael Moore guy, but when you see Roger and Me, there's a part where this guy gets fired from the plant, and I always remember this part. And he drives after he's been laid off from the GM plant, and Wouldn't It Be Nice comes on the radio, and he has to go home and tell his wife that he lost his job. And I think Wouldn't It Be Nice is a song that when I was a kid, as a teenager, I understood the sadness in it, but it kind of made me feel hopeful. And that is a song that plays a lot differently when you're 16 and when you're 41. I'll tell you that. The way the harmonies are, the way the music is, it plays into the sadness of that feeling of wouldn't it be nice when we were older, and you feel the kind of like the sadness of when you're older, of thinking about the optimism of youth and thinking about where you are now. And I think I don't know if Brian Wilson intended that. I honestly think he did. I think that is one of the greatest musical achievements of all time. And yeah, that song really hits me very hard now. When you think about, wouldn't it be, when we're older and all the possibilities. And yeah, anyway, very sad day. But I don't know, that album really meant a lot to me as a kid. It made me understand how art is in conversation with each other, because how the Beatles and the Beach Boys were trying to compete one another, and it was just very opened up a whole world for me. And I know everyone proclaims Pet Sounds and stuff, but it really represents a lot to me. And R.I.P. to Brian Wilson. I think that's a pretty major loss for me. Sorry, I didn't want to sorry. And Good Vibrations is really good too. Sorry. But really one of the great musical geniuses, and I love playing Surfing USA for my kids, and I didn't really want to listen to Pet Sounds around anyone because it just was really hitting me the day he died. But man, one of the great art achievements in art of the 20th century, I would say. I don't know. One time I might make a what are my best albums list, but I'll tell you right now, Pet Sounds is always going to be on there. I know the Beach Boys have their other stuff, and there's stuff like conservatives like more and stuff, and I like that stuff, and I even grew up with their Christmas album. But I'm telling you, Pet Sounds hits hard. Well, you almost made me laugh during that day. At least we still got Mike Love thing. You always could have been all sad. Okay, this last one I think shocked a lot of people. I guess this seems like some people remember her, some people don't. Was Ananda Lewis, who was an MTV VJ. She was kind of more known for doing, I guess, like R&B kind of stuff at the time. But she's a major part of the late '90s, 2000s MTV. She's one of the few who, when I look back on, doesn't have. I don't think of a clip of them saying something that's like embarrassing. Like, she's a pretty quality, amazing person. She actually took Q-Tip. I've heard this story about her taking Q-Tip to task for having scantily clad women in his Vibrant Thing video when he was supposed to be like a progressive person, which I think is cool, but I've never seen this clip. And I actually couldn't find any clips of her, or very few, because so many people were posting like RIP content, and I was a little like, maybe we shouldn't post this much. I kind of wish I could just watch clips of her. And I know most of that MTV stuff is not preserved at all, which is really kind of surprising considering how much of a impact it had at the time. But I know she tried to do a syndicated show, which didn't work out because it premiered on Monday, September 10th, 2001. I don't think I need to explain that one. Good night, Medela Butterfly. But she did try to break out, didn't really work out. I know she had a kid with actually Will Smith's brother, which is insane. Um, but I don't know. I always thought she was really cool. I know she's friends with Aaliyah and all this stuff. The only thing, and I know she spoke on this, supposedly she did try to do more naturalistic, holistic medicine because she died of breast cancer, and then realized that was a mistake, and didn't get regular mammograms. So I will say, please try to take care of yourself if you're aware of a situation happening. I understand financially it's very hard to do that, and there's so many barriers to entry for a lot of that stuff. But please take care of yourself. She was a really great VJ. It's very hard to come out of the late '90s and be a media presence and not be embarrassing, and I think that is actually a huge compliment to her. But I think this shocked people because we don't talk about her enough and all she did. And the footage I could find her, she seemed like a pretty. I reminded she was a cool person. So I hope R.I.P. to her and to her family and to her child about that. A real loss there. So I'm actually curious. Did Carson Daly talk about her on the Today Show? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to take a break. We're going to talk about two things. One is we're going to talk about How to Train Your Dragon Legend of the Bone Napper first. Then I'll talk about the Sabrina Carpenter video for Manchild. This is not a joke. I'm super into this video and I really wanted to review it. I know most people go, this is my show, and end up talking about something weird. I guess this is my weird thing or whatever. Anyway, I am going to use the bathroom. If you need to use the bathroom, I recommend doing so. But you live your own life. Then we'll come back, do those two segments, do questions, and then we're all going to go to bed, and then I'm going to do dishes or whatever. Anyway, I'll be right back. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate all of you. Wait, let me get... I'm like not doing this right. Wait, where are you? Okay. Anyway, I'll be right back, and then we will finish up the end of the show. You got ODing on that actually can happen. You're not wrong, Pisces. Okay, anyway, I'll be right back right after this, and then we'll talk about those things. All right, cool. Be right back. Okay, hello. Welcome back to the show here. As we sorry. As we finish this up. All right. Wow, a lot of people are sticking around, so thank you all for being here so long. All right. I appreciate it, by the way. We are how long has this been? I'm just curious. We're at 147. I feel like I don't know. I should never say this will be the longest one. It is like a curse for. Is that Movie Crap Bingo? I know that's a channel in the Discord. I never check it out. I was like, I wonder if I should try to print out a page to try to hit everything one time. That'd be fun. Maybe not say anything and do it anyway. All right. Um. Wait. Are we? Why am I not? Whatever. Um. Okay. Let's talk. Hey, Taco Master. All right. First, we're going to talk about how to train your dragon. Okay. First, I'm going to talk about, and maybe I'll do one of these How to Train Your Dragon shorts every time there's a How to Train Your Dragon thing. I learned that I did the most recent one when I did the holiday one. But maybe each time there's a How to Train Your Dragon associated thing, I'll do one of these. It's like a cool thing. Because I used to be super into the How to Train Your Dragon stuff when I first. Oh, good night, Austin. Thank you for being here as long as you were. Sorry that we're running late tonight. But I watched even the Cartoon Network thing. I didn't know there's a prequel show on Hulu and Peacock because my kids watch Dragon Riders. I didn't know there was another one. Anyway, so this is How to Train Your Dragon: Legend of the Bone Napper. This was a version that was released on the double disc version of How to Train Your Dragon. I've never seen it before, and I don't think it's the one I had with mine. However, this is about a crazy mean dragon who's sort of like made of bones and stuff, who destroyed Gobber's home, and apparently has long beef with Gibber. Hold on. Am I saying this right? Hold on. How? Gobber. Okay, I don't know why I thought I was wrong. Anyway, so who's long things with Gobber, and so he gets all the kids to come along because, of course. Um, and at first, it's sort of just a regular sort of short film that's attached to a How to Train Your Dragon kind of thing. Very sort of expected, you know what I mean, kind of thing. And then as they're on their way, when Gobber talks about the past, it suddenly becomes 2D. And I actually really like that part a lot. To me, at first, it was like, okay, this is like, you got all the cast to make this bonus thing, so you have like more How to Train Your Dragon stuff you can sell off and stuff. I get it, it's fine. But then they actually have a this whole thing, and it feels sort of like Cartoon Saloon esque. It's like very inspired by cartoons, unless they did it and I'm unaware of that. And they have all sorts of these weird gags, like a hammerhead whale. He keeps getting punched in the face, stop punching yourself, sort of punching in the face. It's actually, I think, surprising. Those parts are really good. Everything in the 3D or CG or whatever parts are like fine, and the performances are fine, but it does sort of feel like sort of just like an extra bit of like How to Train Your Dragon content that's around the DVD to get you to buy some of that stuff. But the 2D stuff of Gobber, that I kind of wish they did more of that design with How to Train Your Dragon. I like the regular design, and I like the animation in the original film, but it's like, oh man, seeing what you could do makes me sort of wish I had this right now. It was a decent enough thing, and it's sort of like a simple, idea, and it's all structured very well. But I will say the 2D thing is really what made it pop. This aired on Cartoon Network in 2010, as well as being on the double disc of the first film. I would say this is better than the Christmas special I reviewed way back when, a while ago. And I think it has a little more spirit to it and a little more innovation. Like some of these, the Toy Story shorts or the other shorts associated with stuff are not as surprising as this. Like surprised me with the 2D stuff, and I liked the imagination. I was like sort of playing with the idea that, oh, he's a crazy old man, but they had fun with that. Eventually you learn he's not so crazy. Maybe some of those stories are crazy, but he's not so crazy. And I like how they use the 2D to emphasize that. Like, if you're going to have a format change, it's interesting to see someone's vision through that. I thought was really interesting. But I enjoyed this. It's one of the better ones I have seen. I don't remember. I know I have a short one on a DVD somewhere, and I forget what it is, and I didn't have the time to find it. I don't think it's this one. This one was actually memorable and interesting, and I think if you're going to do something with an associated, like, kind of short or something, you should do something weird with it. And I liked how it played within that. I don't think the story is super compelling or anything, and I think a lot of these shorts feel a little like it's like they're not getting their A material, but the 2D stuff actually was, and I wish they did more stuff with experimenting with animation styles in this, and I thought how they did it and how they worked in the plot was very smart, and it worked really well. So I enjoyed this. I don't think it's amazing or anything, but I think they attempted something, did something different, and this definitely isn't one of the movies, but it's one that, like, if you're a fan, I would probably recommend checking out. Legend of the Bone Napper. It is on YouTube. You should check it out. I thought it was pretty. It was all right. Okay, I want to take a drink for this. So, Sabrina Carpenter, Man-Child. I saw this video. I think it's not even a week old, or it is a week old. My daughter really likes Sabrina Carpenter. I like the Espresso song a lot. I don't actually like any of her other songs. And I think she's a cool performer, and I like her, her like kind of Miss Piggy Broadway kind of sensibility. I enjoy all that. But when this video came out, we listened to the song, and then we watched the video. And the second time I was watching it, because my daughter wanted to watch the video again, I watched the video again, and I was watching it, and I liked all the visuals and stuff. But then I was watching her do this dance. She's in this red dress with two guys on either side. And I'm watching it and I go, wait a minute. That's like from Godard's Band of Outsiders. That's the Band of Outsiders dance. And I found the clip, and sure enough, it is the Band of Outsiders dance. It is 100% the Godard. And then I kind of stopped and I went, the fuck is going on here? Why is Sabrina Carpenter referencing Godard? Not that she can't, but I was like, there's something. It made me look into this deeper, and I sort of I'm very into this video. Now, back in the day with MTV, if you did a crazy visual thing, it would really work, because I used to have MTV on all the time. If there's a video with cool visuals and shots in it, it was awesome when it came up, because you could see new parts of it and stuff like that. And that's sort of been my experience with this video. My daughters wanted to watch it, but I also ended up watching it. This is directed by Vania Heyman and Gal Muggia, I think. I know they've done stuff for Dua Lipa and other stuff, but this is like every shot is like a different setup, a different costume, a different story for the most part. This is not like, it's such a not like, even when I saw it the first time, I watch expensive videos, and most of the time it's like one location and visually is sort of interesting, but this is visually intensely interesting. I actually, like, as just a visual, like, little short, there's like so much going on. I never feel bored, and having watched it a bunch of times, like, everything, it's so alive and uses her humor, but also, like, I have a sense of Buñuel within this thing. It reminds me a lot of Beck's video of New Pollution. I don't know if that's as big a video now. It was a big video at the time. It's a really good video. I rewatched it and I was like, yeah, this is what she's doing as well. But also, like, all the shots of, like, from, like, when she's posing and the guy's painting her, and you look at the painting and she looks annoyed that she's having to pose and she's not actually in the painting. The part where she's like, says the guy's useless and somebody's holding her up at gunpoint and he runs away. The thing where she's in the guy's motorcycle attached on the little sidecar thing, and it's like a shopping cart. The part where she's eating in the deli, and there's an elephant where she jumps out of the window and jumps up in the pool, and there's a shark there. There's just so many different really cool visuals in this. It is like so visually alive, it's almost impossible to get bored by it. I will say I actually am very excited by this. I actually am, the older I get, the more I'm bored by like this whole like everything's literal, everything has meaning stuff. This is like the first interesting mainstream surreal thing I've seen in a really long time, and I fucking like doing that. I'll look up the Dua Lipa thing after during slide. I should have looked that up. I apologize. I think it's the weird one where there's like an egg and she has a cowboy hat, but I'm not 100%, and I'll look that up after. However, it just, I like things that are visually alive and have, but it's, the thing is like, I want to say like this doesn't have meaning. It bounces around. It has little vignettes. It has little funny things like she says, "Hey guys," and it cuts to little piggies. It, you know, there's for some reason someone's driving around with a bunch of trees in their car. She's not even in that part. She's smoking a candle with a guy and laughs because he lights his hair on fire. There's certain things that are total music video bullshit, like her in the hanging off the car in the roller skates, which that just looks crazy. I'm glad she survived. Or the guy, you know, while she's drinking the wine glass with the straw cup thing, which I was like, is that a thing, or this video is just so weird I'm accepting that it's weird, and the guy's dancing in the background. But it's still like, I enjoy things that are visually rich and interesting. And yes, I 100% know that this is a post the Daniels Everything Everywhere All at Once thing, and that is 100% what it's doing, but it is actually interesting to watch. So many of these things are just so straight ahead, and like, this is what the song is, this is not that, and I don't think this actually represents the song, which I also like. We used to have music videos that would fuck around and do all these things, but if you're going to be a big pop star and have all this power and shit, and you're not doing something weird and interesting like this, what is the fucking point, honestly? Like, artistically, this is really, really cool. This is a very good music video. I would actually say it's like, I like other music videos, but this is a music video I fucking love. I love this kind of music videos. When I was in college and I made that stupid rap video I made, I counted how many locations. No, I will look. I like Dua Lipa too, actually, Jordan Slavlo. I will look it up. I'm sorry. I forgot to write it down. That's my bad. But I looked it up, and I counted every music, and I noticed every rap video had like 3 different locations, and you just cut between them. And if you cut it up enough, it looks good. This is not that. They were not resting on their laurels. There are so many setups and location changes and costume changes. Like, this looks this is a fucking cool video. I really like this thing. I know this is not, you know, my demo or whatever the fuck. I was just like, I have to talk about how cool this is. Like, it does remind me of the Discreet Charm of the Bourgeoisie. Having a Band of Outsiders reference. I don't know. These directors, I've never seen, I could not find another video they had that is like this. But the fact that, like, you know, there's so many little stories within this. It's like, well, why is she shooting at the cops from a car? Why is, what, like, sorry. Why did she get thrown out of the car? Why is she, you know, she in this situation? Why is she coming out of the water in this one? Why is she laughing at the guy in the scuba gear? Like, there's so many little stories with it. It's like intensely awesome. And I don't know. I really like this. And I like artists who do interesting, visually complex, surreal things. And this is like surreal and weird, and her, you know, sort of sense of humor and all those things colliding in at once. Like, there's a thing with a bird and a turtle that comes back for some reason. I don't fucking know why. It doesn't matter why. It's just like I like things that are visually alive. Like, there's a reason I like cartoons, and there's a reason I like this kind of visual storytelling, because it like pops in a way that like makes my mind and my imagination go fucking crazy. And not all media needs to be like this, but like this is really fucking cool. I really love this video. I think they did a great job. I'm excited to see what these guys do later. I hope it's not just a Daniels riff or whatever, but this didn't feel like that, because it felt etched in film history. One of the things I really like about this generation is you've had all this access to all these movies that would take me like 2 years to see all of them, and you can do it in a fucking weekend, and you're using that intelligence to make something fucking interesting with it. And I really love that about it. I thought Sabrina Carpenter was great in the video. I love, like, you know, her riding on a chair with some guy, her on the jet ski with wheels, her, I could really just make a video just explaining everything, and I'm sure somebody has. But like, this is like, if you want to know like what is really interesting filmmaking with a budget, this is how you use a budget. Does every shot look expensive? No, but you use that budget to make something visually intensely interesting, and you leave and you have a really cool thing to watch. I don't know, why is there a chicken with a thing? Why is she getting shot at by chasing the thing? Who the fuck knows? But anyway, I really enjoyed this video. It's definitely one of the best videos I've seen in years. I thought it was very well directed. I thought she did a great job, and it really pushed the elements forward. I highly recommend it, and I think this is the kind of awesome filmmaking we nowadays need more of. We need things that excite us and make us feel strange, and make us question everything. And at the end, you're like, what was the point? Meaning sucks. Everything now sucks that means anything. Why not we go for something that's meaningless and weird and makes you think about all these things and makes you laugh? And that was this video. And I'm very happy to have gotten to see it and review it. Okay, I'll look up their other Dua Lipa video. Hold on. And then we'll do questions. I'm sorry that was a bit of a... I just wanted to... Sorry. I feel like... I did like what Corporate said. I want to do this, and it's the most mainstream. Dua Lipa, We're Good. Which one is that? Hold on. I do like Future Nostalgia a lot. YouTube. I'll answer this. Dua Lipa, We're Good. Is this the one with the egg and her... What is it? Is it? Oh, I think she's on a, like, I don't want to play it and get, like, copyright, whatever. I don't know if this... Oh, is it, like, her in the... I think she's in a fancy dress and stuff. Yeah, she's at, like, a fancy party and changes outfits and stuff. It's sort of typical. Most of their stuff is not as interesting as this was. But most music... I mean, you're sort of based on the artist and the song and all that stuff. Anyway... Sorry. Let's do questions. Did everyone leave during that? No, they didn't. Okay. All right, cool. I'm going to write questions below. Everyone fell asleep and I'll just be nice about it. All right. All right. Where are the questions? I have 3 questions. Okay. I'll do Austin Light. He's not here. Nathaniel Foka, favorite Beach Boys song? I would say either In My Room or Good Vibrations, even though I did this whole thing on Wouldn't It Be Nice, but I would say either one of those. Either one of those. Sinram says, Harris Yulin has a very memorable scene in Training Day, just the one scene. Do you have any favorite single scene performances? Jack Nicholson and Little Shop of Horrors would be one. But the other one I'll say is there's this woman in Hell or High Water, and she's just the waitress, and she has one scene. And I think she's like a sitcom later or something, and I forget her name. But I've never liked her in anything, but I like her in that one fucking scene. She just, like, kills it. I really like Taylor. I liked Taylor Sheridan before he did this stupid shows. Like, I don't know. Well, I like him in just Sicario and Hell or High Water. But, yeah, I think she killed, like, I just remember her really, like, this one waitress in this one scene. Like, maybe she's in 2 scenes, but, like, she's not in that much of the movie. And it's like, I always remember her. I would say, trying to think of anyone else. I'm just going to go with her because that's what I think. That's also how I do the Cinematrix thing. We're almost at 80. If anyone, sorry, I should do a final call to action. If anyone wants to get us to 80, I'll do the lights again. But anyway, yeah, I'll say her because I can't think of anyone. I mean, I guess I'm supposed to say Orson Welles in Third Man, right? Because that one scene is insane. But that is not a one-scene wonder. Or Alec Baldwin and Glengarry. But I'm going to say her and woman I can't remember. Hitler I Water. Okay, Austin. Hey, Jim. What a great show. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for the suggestion last week. This week, my question, which I'm not sure the placement of, is what is the best movie with a dragon in it? I think I would go How to Train Your Dragon 1. I think that would be. I can't think of a better dragon movie. I like Dragonheart when it came out. I learned that there's like 5 of them because of the best thing, but anyway, all right, let's go. Where are we? Sorry. Cornbread asks, I would like to do all the questions. I know it is late. I'm sorry, everybody. Cornbread asks, Jim, how can you live with yourself reviewing music video from potential star of the possible upcoming movie Mamma Mia 3 without mentioning the film itself, which may or may not exist? Thank you for that. You know what's funny? So her album cover, this is the end of the Sabrina Carpenter talking. This is the last thing. Her album cover came out and everyone's upset because it's like her being held like a dog and stuff. And it occurred to me when I saw it, I'm like, that's the Spinal Tap did that. Remember? Because Fran Drescher's getting mad at them. And they're like, what's the problem with this album being sexy? She was like, it's not sexy, it's sexist. And like, I was like, I don't know if she did that on purpose, but I was like, she's not the first artist to do a Spinal Tap album cover unintentionally. If anyone can mention who it's a pretty big album. I won't. I'll have you guess it. If you don't, I'll mention at the end of the questions. How about that? We'll do. If so, I feel like someone can get it. There's another artist who post the Spinal Tap movie did a Spinal Tap album cover unintentionally, and we're pretty good sports about it too. Zane Powers, question: I know it pains you that Brian Wilson's is, but aren't you at least happy relieve Mike? Jesus, everyone's bringing up Mike Love. I did think, well, like, man, Mike Love's still alive. What the fuck? He's definitely a Trumper. I don't need to look that up. I know it's true. Taco Master, what film moment you connected well, which is Luke? What film moment you connected well? Me is Luke looking at the two suns reminds me of how much I hate living in shithole Florida. That is a good one. I will say the interesting thing about Luke and the two sons, that is sort of a remake of Dorothy singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow. It's like the same plot point. It's the same. That's a moment that moment speaks to me because I remember like not looking at two suns, but looking out and going like, man, I need to get out of here. And I'd say that. I can't think of another one. I mean, Somewhere Over the Rainbow is a good one. Yeah, sorry. It's the end of the show, so sometimes some of these are not. Anyway, Black Saxophone, should Kevin James make a music video? Fuck yeah. I think Kevin James should do more short stuff. I liked his COVID stuff. Nathaniel Fogel, what are you excited for the most? Scary Movie 6 or Spaceballs 2? I think Scary Movie 6, to be honest with you. What film... Oh, we did that one. Okay. Question. What's the worst case scenario for Spaceballs 2? Spaceball, the animated series, is black. See, that's the worst case scenario. Seriously, find that. Jim, thank you, Willie Moment. Great stream tonight. Question 1. If a Spider-Man bites you, bites you, breaking the skin into a hypodermis, could you become another spider person yourself? I think so, but not as good. Right? I think so. Yuri or Yoi? Zane Powers. I don't know what that means, so I'll say Yuri. I don't know what that means. Well, a moment. Question 2. Other than the bicycle thieves, what is your favorite Italian neorealist film? I would say Germany Year Zero potentially. Hold on. Let me look up Italian neo-real. I'm not cheating because I want to. Okay, God, I hate fucking AI. Just like show me the fucking. Jesus. Thank you, Google, for ruining yourself because of a stupid trend. No, I don't want. Sorry. Looking at the ones they have on the Googles. Umberto D. I remember liking. Does Knights of Cabrini? Is that maybe that one? I'm gonna say Umberto D. I have not watched that in a long time, so I'm probably wrong about it. Unless I can think of something else. I'm gonna say that one. I'm sorry. It's been a little bit since I watched one of those, but yeah. Oh, Taco Master, that is a good one. They should have gotten Phil Lord and Chris Miller for Spaceballs too. It would have been revenge for Solo. Damn it. Now I wish that was real. Cornbread. Had more in-depth CN question before, but you're running low now. So instead, you think Steven Universe going to Amazon? Oh, I didn't realize that. And Gumbo going to Hulu plays in your fears of the brand's future. Yes, I didn't realize the Steven Universe going to Amazon. That sucks. Bloxy, since you're finally doing, and since they're I don't know why I read your, since they're finally doing a new Spaceballs, do you think we'll ever get that Austin Powers 4 they've been talking about for a decade plus? I think that could happen eventually, but if you do it, I think you have to, much like the new Shrek, like you'd have to take on Daniel Craig or like do something different with it. To me, I don't think you could do the same shit. So, Nathaniel Fogo, what would FNAG and Fuckworst be up to today? I will tell you one thing though. The few times we talked about it, we realized we both didn't like Game of Thrones, and I feel like there'd be a lot of, we would be not popular. I think it's best it ended because it would have just been us shitting on Game of Thrones. So I think it's best we didn't. Sometimes I'm like, maybe it's best it didn't go that long because people would be like, you guys are just grumps. Zane Powers, thoughts on Mike Judge's The Good Family. I actually watched it all when it aired. I remember liking it, but not as much as King of the Hill. I never felt like it really like put, we were like, oh, it's putting liberals to task, but I remember enjoying it. But it's been a very long time. Like I watched it when it was on. I have not watched it since. Viento Samurai, hello, how's it going? I don't know if I've seen you before. How are you doing? What are your plans for this summer? Just living, bro. That's living. Oh, probably Yuri Cornbread. I guess. I don't know. Was that the last one? Is Empire's the last? Oh, it is. I have Taco Master. I have good memories of Austin Powers working in 2, but it's been a long time. Maybe it doesn't, but I have pleasant memories of that. All right. I guess this is the last one. Zane Powers, do you mock people who bought a Switch 2 because it is a rip-off console? I don't mock them, but I'm like, y'all have Switch 2 money in this economy? What the fuck is going on? Like, what? For real? Okay. All right, and this will be the last one. It's getting to be 1 o'clock. We need to end this shit. Cameron Powell, favorite Dr. Seuss adaptation? I'm gonna go, well, it's the Grinch. The Grinch cartoon is the best. Like, come on. Like, the Grinch, the original Grinch cartoon that Chuck Jones did, that is the, like, there's no other better. My only other one that I haven't watched in a long time is Ralph Bakshi did the Butter Battle book, and that is that is pretty good as I recall, but it has been like decades since I see it, but I remember it being good. Okay, this is the last one. The Rocket Lowbacks. How's it going? Have you seen Nobody Waves Goodbye? I don't know. What is that? Nobody Waves Goodbye, a 1964 film? No. Have I? No. No, but it's on Tubi. All right. All right, guys. I think that is it. We have done, where are we at? 2 hours 15. That's about what I thought it would be. All right, guys. I think that is it tonight. I want to thank you all for your generosity during this stream. I really appreciate it. I want to thank everyone who gave a super chat. That would be, okay. Jesus. Okay. I want to thank Bloxiox, Winkle Austin, William Ellman, Sinram, Taco Master, Remiku Hariku Shrine, William Ellman, Austin, Malcolm Rampart, Austin, William Ellman, Medella Butterfly, William Ellman, and William Ellman. Thank you for the super chat, and cheers to you all. I very much appreciate it. Cheers. I'm sorry there wasn't a video yesterday. I literally fell asleep and slept with my son after a long day, and then I woke up at like 12:30, and I was like, I don't think any of that. But a Mission Impossible Final Reckoning review is coming. I think there'll be some stuff. I don't know if I'll have a video on Sunday or not. I think it's Father's Day. I might just be like, whatever. But I think Friday and Saturday, I definitely think there'll be a video tomorrow. But I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed everything. hope you like stuff that's going on. I hope y'all are doing very good. And I hope y'all have a good Father's Day. You just let your dad fall asleep with a beer in front of the TV, and that's all you really need to do. To be honest with you. But have a good night. Be good to yourself. See some good movies. I'll see you all next time. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you all next time. You have a good night and good summer, and peace out.